I want to preface this entire review, analysis, retrospective thing by telling you that I did not grow up with Kingdom Hearts. I didn't even know it existed until I was roughly 13 years old. I didn't even know what it was about until I was 14, and even then I was kind of foggy on the details. I played it for the very first time a few months ago when I was 15. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that I do not have any trace of nostalgia for this game. I didn't grow up playing it. I didn't spend my childhood running through the Destiny Islands or rewatching each Disney movie as I played through the area, or any other tradition diehard fans might have done. The reason why I feel that this is so important to explain is because Kingdom Hearts is the kind of game which feels designed to be played as a child and then again as an adult. Keep in mind that there were two major players in the creation of this game, Squaresoft and Disney. The phrase Disney magic can be applied to this game without a shadow of the doubt. Although I'm willing to admit that there are multiple definitions of Disney magic and mine might not be the right one, but I can't think of a better name for it, so we're just going to roll with that for now. You see, Kingdom Hearts is the kind of game which you can play as a child, love it, and play it again as an adult, and still love it, possibly even more. This is because Kingdom Hearts is, under its goofy, colorful exterior, a very serious game. There are some heavy themes of betrayal, redemption, love, hate, life, even death, mixed with some incredible symbolism. However, it's easy to not notice most of this as a child, or at least not understand the full extent of it. So if you play it again as an adult, you can see an entirely new level of depth contained in your childhood, which you might not have noticed otherwise. This is Disney magic. The ability to make something for children, which gets even better as you grow older. Rather than growing to decadence over time, it improves. This is why I feel that it's important to tell you that I did not grow up with Kingdom Hearts. I didn't spend my childhood like this. I did not experience the full extent of the Disney magic which this game instills. I went into Kingdom Hearts fairly blind, as mentioned earlier. I only had a vague concept of the plot, and had no idea what the gameplay would be like. As such, I still don't know what's going to happen in the sequels or spin-offs of the game. I know there's apparently some guy named Axel and some guy named Zexion, who's apparently Tesmex, but other than that, I do not know. So this review is entirely devoted to the first Kingdom Hearts game. If I mention anything which is expanded on or explained in a future game, but don't mention that in this review, that's why. I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts as a standalone title. Finally, I just want to tell you one last little detail, more of a disclaimer than anything. When I first turned on Kingdom Hearts, my girlfriend was talking to me, and she dared me to play it on expert difficulty. Thus, while I tried to get second opinions from others while making this analysis, keep in mind that what I'm about to say is from the mindset of a guy who has only played Kingdom Hearts once, on its hardest difficulty. I played through the entire game on expert, so any comments that I might make or imply based on a boss's or enemy difficulty, it could just be because I've only played it on expert. So, finally on to the actual review. Kingdom Hearts begins after the goddamn trippiest opening video ever made, link in the description, in the protagonist Sora's mind. Or dream, or heart. It begins in a nightmare-like area, where the basic gameplay elements are explained, the plot is foreshadowed, all that good stuff. Afterwards, Sora wakes up in the Destiny Islands, a tropical set of islands where he and his friends live. Or at least that's what's implied. All we ever actually see is the inside of Sora's room, a single island, with Sora, Kairi, his love interest, Riku, his best friend and sort of rival, and 3 characters from a Final Fantasy game, which I've never played. Regardless, we learn that Sora and his friends are building a raft because they want to learn what else is in the world. We are also told that Kairi wants to leave because she wants to know where she came from, as she woke up on the island a few years ago with no memory of her past. Riku, on the other hand, while he cares about learning about Kairi's past, is more interested in exploring the world and getting off the island. And by the way, if you think that I'm wrong about that fact, I will back it up in the description. Sora seems to want to do both and stick with his friends. There's a bit more to what happens on the Destiny Islands, but just for the sake of structure, let's move on to the next part of the plot. After a fateful stormy night, Kairi goes missing, and Riku is... Okay, so Riku almost outright tells you what he's doing, but he's cryptic enough about it so that you probably wouldn't be able to figure out exactly what he's doing until later in the game. So it's a little tricky to talk about without spoiling anything, and I don't like spoiling things. So let's just say that Riku is moving towards his destiny. So Kairi goes missing while the island goes under attack. Sora tries to get Riku to help him save the island, but Riku's too busy having sex with himself to notice. So his heart unlocks the power within him, or something, and he obtains the ability to use the Keyblade, a mystical weapon which gains the strength from the heart of its user. He tries to fight off the attackers, but is unable to save his home. The Destiny Islands are destroyed by the Heartless, a group of shadow-like monsters without souls. Sora winds up in Traverse Town, where he meets a group of people from another Final Fantasy game, which I've never played, but can at least identify. He also meets Goofy and Donald, who are searching for their king. They see that Sora is the prophesized Keyblade welder, and invite him on board their ship. They figure they're both searching for somebody, Sora's friends and their king, so they may as well team up. The majority of the game following this involves them exploring various Disney-themed worlds, such as Wonderland, Halloween Town, and Atlantica. Sora swears to find his 2 best friends, though when he does, he may not like what he finds. The gameplay is fairly simple. You attack with the X button, jump with circle, and you can learn the ability to guard as you progress. You can also gain other abilities to help you move around more easily, such as high jumping and rolling. Sora can also learn various magical spells through his adventures, though the other ones I found myself using were Cure, Fire, and a shield spell. I remember being annoyed with Sora in the first area or 2, because he wasn't quite as nimble as I wanted him to be. He needed a split second to recover after jumping, and had an awkward pause after finishing a combo, which left me open to attack quite often in the first area. Thing is, as I continued playing, I found this being a problem less and less often. This might have just been because I got used to it as I played it more, but it's possible that Sora's controls actually improve as he levels up. He learns more abilities as you defeat enemies, including longer combos and the ability to parry and guard, so I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he was programmed to get better. But whether it's Sora who's getting better or me who's just getting better at controlling him, it feels very natural. Sora starts out with a wooden sword on an island with very little experience fighting. So it really does feel like you're going from a naive little boy to a combat-savvy expert by the end of the game. And then there's Goofy and Donald. I'll be honest, they're fairly useless. As you continue, Donald can learn the ability to heal Sora, and Goofy can restore some of his MP, which is useful, but beyond that, I feel like they could have been better implemented. I can't remember a single moment when I actually relied on them, unless it was to draw the enemies away from myself. It's not like they ever hurt your gameplay, unless you're in the Coliseum trying to do a time trial and Donald uses his freaking stop spell, screwing you up it. Right. Where was I? Right. It could have been done better, is what I'm saying. Especially taking into consideration that the main theme is teamwork and getting help from your friends. It just feels a little weird that they're so useless. They have some pretty touching moments plot-wise, especially Goofy, and especially towards the end. You know the moment I'm talking about. But during combat, I'd rather they just had a bit more power backing them up. This video is running a tad long, so I'll give you a chance to go get something to snack on before I continue. Here's a quick intermission. And we're back. So, returning to the subject of combat, let's talk about bosses for a moment. At the end of each world, you battle a boss, in normal video game form, based on the main antagonist from that movie. For example, Neverland would have you fighting Captain Hook, Tarzan's world would have you fighting Clayton, that sort of thing. And to be blunt, they're pretty underwhelming. I mean, I sort of remember enjoying a few of them. I kinda liked the Captain Hook battle, and the fight against Cloud Strife was pretty intense, but a majority of the fights were just lacking. They were either too hard, I'm looking at you, Clayton, too annoying, or just plain meh. Like, let's take the fight against the Wonderland boss, for example. They could have done so much with this. They could have had it vanish like the Cheshire Cat. They could have made you fight it in some sort of maze. They could have had you play some version of croquet, or turn it into a Phoenix Wright-style court case. Insert objection mean here. But instead, in what is probably the most interesting, out-there movie Disney has made, other than arguably Fantasia, they give you a bland fight against a boss which isn't even that hard. Or, say, Oogie Boogie. Through the entire world, I was anticipating this fight, because I was expecting them to play the Boogie song, my favorite song from the movie, during it. But when I did get to that battle, they just played the same generic boss music. I wound up pausing the game, going on YouTube, and looking up the song just so I could listen to it while I battled him. I know it sounds like a small thing, but it really could have made a big difference if they had included it. The bosses are full of problems like this. You know, come to think of it, Oogie Boogie isn't the only villain with a song. Yeah, actually, Ursula had unfortunate souls, and Jafar could have had, I don't know, maybe his reprise of Prince Ali. Okay, some of the villains had their own songs, but what I'm saying is, these are Disney villains you're fighting. You've got some of the most notorious bad guys in film here. There should have been so much more than this. I mean, I asked a few of my friends who are longtime Kingdom Hearts fans who their favorite boss was, and none of them could even recall one which they enjoyed. And don't even get me started on the fact that you can't skip the pre-fight cutscene. My god, that is so annoying. Alright, so if you now forgive the abrupt change of topic, let's move back to the game's overall setting. You see, the individual worlds take place on Disney worlds, with Disney characters and snippets of Disney plotlines. But the overarching plot connecting them? The relationship between Sora, Riku, and Kairi? Bitch, that's Squaresoft. Somebody turn that into a t-shirt. Bitch, that's Squaresoft. And in my opinion, this is when the game is at its best. As much as I enjoy the Disney-based worlds, I feel like the game's strongest sections is when Squaresoft does what it does best. Make kick-ass RPGs. While Kingdom Hearts doesn't follow the typical Final Fantasy formula, in spite of having several characters from Final Fantasy, it definitely feels like this was a game made by Squaresoft. It's rare to see symbolism like this, or character relationships this deep in a game made by anyone else. So I'm going to return to a question I asked earlier. Am I the right person to be making this game? Well, I may not have grown up with Kingdom Hearts. I may not have spent my entire childhood playing the game, roaming the worlds. Am I the right person to be reviewing this game? Well, I may not have grown up with Kingdom Hearts. I may not have spent my childhood roaming the worlds. But I will say right now, without a shadow of a doubt, that I fell in love with Kingdom Hearts. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the worlds, the story. I fell in love with this game. I was in love the moment I saw Sora, Riku, and Kairi on the beach together, dreaming of their futures. I was in love when I saw that they lost their island. I was in love when I watched Riku lose himself. I was in love when I saw the lengths Sora was willing to go to find his friends. And I was in love when I finished this game, only to see that the story was far from over. I loved it so much, I was willing to go back and fight all of the optional bosses. And I wound up beating all of them. Except for Sephiroth, but shut up. So, I may not have grown up with Kingdom Hearts, but my best friend and girlfriend both did. And when I play it, there are moments, especially in the beginning and end, where I feel like I can see their childhoods. I feel like I can see ideas and morals which they carried with them through their entire lives thus far. Kingdom Hearts is one of those games that everybody should at least try at some point in their lives. I won't say that it's for everybody, but it's at least worth being tried. Anyway, this has been the Court Jester, and thanks for watching.